Hey guys, today I wanted to tackle the topic of body weight set point theory, the science behind it, and my thoughts on it. For those of you who haven't heard of this is the theory that our bodies have a natural set weight that they like to stay at, and that's what makes losing fat so hard. But first, really quick, I want to wish you guys a happy Black Friday and happy Thanksgiving if you celebrated Thanksgiving. I hope your Thanksgiving was full of delicious food and the giving of the thanks and all of those good things. To celebrate Black Friday, I'm putting all of my ebooks on sale. They are 30% off, which I think is the biggest sale I've ever done between now and Cyber Monday. So you can get Project Comeback that you can start now, or when you start your comeback in January, you can use that. Or you can get Brains and Gains, both editions, or my Adaptogen ebook, all 30% off. And let's make the code FITFriday21 because it's 2021. I'll leave a link to those down in the description box below. Check them out. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty science of whether or not set point is real, let's look at what the theory is. Set point theory basically just states that the human body will try to maintain its preferred weight within a small range. This explains why when you try to lose fat, you put it right back on because your body is trying to get you to stay at your set point. And usually people refer to this set point as a very narrow range, like within 5 pounds. People say my set point is 150 to 155. And the current thought around the physiological model of this is that the body kind of operates like a thermostat. So if you set the thermostat to 75 degrees, if it gets colder in the room, the thermostat will kick on, turn up the heat, and bring you back to 75. If it gets hot, the thermostat will kick on, and bring you back to 75. And there are physiological mechanisms in the body that mirror this pretty well, mainly how leptin functions in response to changes in the amount of body fat on your body. Leptin is the satiety hormone. So when the amount of body fat on your body decreases, your body decreases the amount of leptin in response to make you less satiated, therefore increasing your hunger. Your body also decreases your RMR, or your resting metabolic rate, so you stop burning as many calories as well. And both of these things usually lead to an increase in body fat again. And it actually works the same in reverse as well. If the amount of fat on your body increases the amount of leptin, making you more satiated, decreasing your hunger. Your body also increases your RMR, or your resting metabolic rate, so you burn more calories as well, and your body naturally loses the fat. And that's basically the summary of set point theory, that leptin modulates whether or not we're hungry or full based on how much body fat we gain or we lose, and it keeps us at our set point. But a close look at the physiological and molecular data reveals a lot of discrepancies between this model and real life. First and foremost, individuals with obesity who have ample amount of body fat and produce a large amount of leptin don't see their body fat naturally come down in response to the leptin. Additionally, although we've seen in studies that daily injections of leptin do decrease body mass in a dose-dependent manner, the extent of which is not the same scale as we would expect if set point theory were 100% correct. Also, it's really difficult to imagine that such a simplistic system can exist in the body when we know that there's a lot of other regulatory mechanisms, so not only leptin, but also things like insulin, glucose, fatty and amino acids, gut hormones, like so many different things that are not only affected by adiposity, but also by other things like food intake, like what you're eating and the timing of your food. Speaking of gut hormones, set point theory doesn't even take into account all of the current research that is showing us that your gut health plays a critical role in whether or not you're prone to gaining or losing weight. For example, there was a recent study that demonstrated that there's a ratio of 2 types of bacteria that can reside in your gut that can determine how your body is going to respond to a specific diet. They took 62 people and put them on a high fiber whole grain based diet, and over the course of the study, those with a higher amount of the Prevotella bacteria lost 5.1 more pounds than those with more bacteroidetes. Additionally, there's more research to show that different gut bacteria can influence how much leptin and ghrelin are produced. And the list goes on and on and on as to why set point theory in itself cannot be a full explanation for why it feels like there is a set point that we're all at when you're trying to lose weight or even gain weight. And there is no one neat conclusive answer that science can point to. At this point, it's all hypothesis. Here's the problem. Here's why it can't just be simplified down into one nice model that makes everything just make a lot of sense when you just look at it in a diagram. It's like, oh, that explains it. With like everything in nutrition and fitness, we try to simplify a very complex system, the human body, down to like an equation, like calories in versus calories out. We all know a calorie is not a calorie. I have a whole video on that before you come at me in the comment section of this video. Go watch that video and come at me in the comment section of that video after you watched it. There's so much left to discover and understand about how the human body functions. Like, we don't know how the human metabolism works. Now, here's my opinion. This discussion needs to be a lot bigger. It's getting boiled down to one numerical value, your weight. But it's so much bigger than that. I think we need to be discussing set health instead of set weight. Because here's the thing, our bodies are always fighting for us to be the healthiest versions of ourselves so that we can survive and procreate. Like, that is just evolution. Our bodies always want us to be healthy. And weight is only one of so many factors in health. And like, yes, being in your healthy weight range is probably going to make you a healthier version of you than if you were above it or below it. But, you know, you can also be healthy and not eat vegetables. Is eating vegetables gonna probably make you healthier? Probably, but you can definitely be perfectly healthy without them. And then within weight itself, you have to take body fat percentage into account. Like, I watched so many videos about this topic before I made this video, and no one mentioned body fat percentage. It was just all about weight. But like, if you're 150 pounds and 45% body fat, your body is gonna be doing much different things than if you're 150 pounds and 22% body fat. Same weight, extremely different body composition, probably extremely different metabolism. And by metabolism, I don't just mean calories burned, like calories in versus calories out metabolism. I mean how your body takes in, breaks down, and absorbs nutrients. Also, there's a lot of factors in the real world, like outside of a lab setting, that affect our bodies in ways that kind of nullify the set point theory, at least as far as how we can apply it in real life. First and foremost, being the prevalence of processed foods and how they completely hijack our hunger and satiety cues. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods, your hunger and satiety cues are going to be off. Health issues can also disrupt these cues, and we live in a chronically ill world. Like, most people have some sort of health issue, whether they know it or not. Hormone imbalances too. All hormones are related, so if you have a hormone imbalance, it's going to affect your leptin and your ghrelin and like all other hormones in your body. This is why I always say that if you have PMS or other sorts of hormonal symptoms, I recommend working on fixing those first before trying to force your body to lose weight, because you're gonna be fighting not necessarily a losing battle, but for a lot of people a losing battle because your body's already fighting against you. And then lastly, just modern life has caused a lot of different chemical, physical, environmental stressors to be present in our lives that are also gonna affect our hunger and satiety cues. And this is why set point theory doesn't appear to work in reverse, where if you gain weight, you just lose it right away, because oftentimes that weight gain is due to a lot of these other factors that are kind of hijacking your leptin and other cues, and so it's not going to settle back down because it's been disrupted. So if set point theory isn't the answer, what is the answer? There is a model that I like a lot better than set point, and it's called settling point. The settling point model postulates that there is little active regulation towards a specific body weight within the body, but rather that your body weight will settle at a certain point based on a varying number of contributing factors. Mainly how your genetic predisposition interacts with environmental and socioeconomic factors like diet and lifestyle. Now, I want to give you a breakdown on my version of this model based on all of the research that I've done, as well as my experience working one-on-one with actual real people and seeing how this gets applied. Again, I think the current model is majorly oversimplified, so I'd like to propose two different kinds of settling points. One is your current point, and the other is your health set point. And in this discussion, we're gonna just assume that you're not doing anything that's going to hijack your body's natural cues, because that would nullify kind of any theory. So let's just say you're eating mostly whole and processed foods, you're exercising regularly, you're getting enough sleep, you're doing your stress reduction practices, all of that good stuff. Like, you're maintaining an overall healthy, functioning physical body. So let's talk about Marissa's current set point theory. Our bodies are not driving us to maintain a specific weight within like a 5-pound range. No one has a genetic set point of 140 to 143 pounds. But here's why it feels like you have set points. And that is that our bodies are homeostasis machines. Our bodies are always going to drive us to maintain homeostasis wherever we're at. And that's why I'm calling this current set point theory, because your current weight is always your set point weight, because your body is always driving homeostasis. If you're trying to lose weight quickly or gain weight quickly or just incorrectly, your body is going to fight you, no matter where you're starting from. Our bodies are not cool with fast, big changes. It's just a survival mechanism. We have so many mechanisms in our body that drive homeostasis. Leptin is just one of them. Another one is your metabolic rate, and this time I am talking about the calories in versus calories out calories burned metabolic rate. If you eat less, your metabolism slows down to keep you in homeostasis. If you eat more, your metabolism actually speeds up to keep you in homeostasis. This is the magic of reverse dieting. Resistance training plus surplus calories equals faster metabolism. You can break the cycle. The body can also modulate how it absorbs actual nutrients, so it can change if it's absorbing more or fewer nutrients. And also, the research is showing us that fat tissue functions a lot more like an organ than just like random cells that store fat. Fat cells can integrate and send out hormonal signals. They can release adaptogens. They can communicate with the brain. They can receive hormonal signals from other organs. Our adipose tissue is in communication with the rest of our body. It's not just being told what to do. So your current weight is always your set point in this sense. It's always going to be hard to lose 10 pounds or gain 10 pounds because your body is always going to be pushing you towards your current weight. And if you were 20 pounds heavier or 20 pounds lighter, it would be the same story. This is why intuitive eating works really well for maintenance, because if you're listening to your body, it's going to be telling you exactly what you need to do to just maintain your weight. Now, I do want to acknowledge that genetics do play a role in this. It is one factor. It can affect how fast or slowly your body will adapt to any of these various changes. Your genetics may also make you more or less prone to gaining or storing excess body fat, and that's why we see such a range of how different diets and different strategies affect people. And this is evidenced by numerous twin studies where they've just analyzed twins raised in different environments that ended up having very similar body composition. But genetics are not the only thing at play when it comes to what it feels like your set point is. Obesity is rising way too rapidly for it to actually be genetics. Like, our genetics do not change as fast as we're seeing obesity increase. I'm also gonna say something that a lot of people don't want to hear, and that is that a lot of what is set in your set point is how set your lifestyle is. Your lifestyle plays a big part in where your current settling point is, and it is hard to change your lifestyle. A lot of people feel stuck at a certain weight or have managed to lose weight and then get stuck at that weight, and they think that, oh, I've hit my set point, my body doesn't want to change anymore. But a lot of people, and I'm not saying this applies to everyone, but a lot of people don't actually get real with themselves and look at whether or not they've maintained these lifestyle changes that they need to make to change their body weight. You have to ask yourself, have I actually truly been consistent with the diet and lifestyle changes that I know that I need to make for 8 or more weeks? For most people, the answer is no. For most people, they try for like 2 weeks, feel stuck, and then give up. But 2 weeks of a plateau is kind of a normal thing if you're doing things correctly, and it doesn't mean that you failed, it doesn't mean that you're stuck, and it doesn't mean that it's time to just give up. So that's current settling point. Health settling point, I think, is a lot more straightforward. And this is the idea that we do have a healthy range of weight and body fat percentage that our body is going to function best in. But here's the thing, that range is a lot bigger than 5 or even 10 pounds. For a lot of people, they can be healthy within a range of like 30 to 60 pounds, depending on how tall you are. And when it comes to body fat percentage, there can be a healthy range of like 10 to 15%. And genetics narrow this down a little, so like some women, for example, might not be able to be as healthy when they are really, really lean, whereas some women can be perfectly healthy and be really lean. Same with the other end of the spectrum, and same with men as well. So being outside of your healthy set range is where we see the exception to the current settling point. And this is where, if we believe that our bodies are always fighting for us to be the healthiest version of ourselves, this is where we will see people naturally lose weight or gain weight if they end up outside of their natural healthy set range. And this is assuming, again, there are no other health issues, no other factors going on that are hijacking your body's hunger and satiety cues. These are the people that are kind of otherwise healthy, but they start eating intuitively and their bodies drive them back into their healthy range. So, in summary of Marissa's theory on bodily homeostasis and health, we have a healthy set range that our body is going to drive us to be within. Beyond that, if you're within your healthy set range, your current weight is your set weight and your body will drive homeostasis. So one of the big questions that this may leave you with is, if our body is always driving homeostasis, when we lose weight, why do we gain it back? Like, why does our body not stay in homeostasis at that lower weight? One of the big reasons for this is metabolic adaptation. When you go into a calorie deficit, your body adapts your metabolism to match that calorie deficit so that you stop losing weight. So let's say you're maintaining weight on 2,500 calories. You want to lose some weight. So you drop your calories to 2,200. You're losing weight, you start to plateau. You're plateauing because your body is slowing down your metabolism. Before it was burning 2,500 calories a day, Now it's burning 2,200 calories a day. You hit a plateau. So you drop your calories a little bit more. So you drop them to 1,800. You're losing weight, but your metabolism's slowing down. And so you plateau again. Now you're maintaining weight on 1,800 calories, when before you were maintaining weight on 2,500 calories. And for a lot of people, these numbers keep getting lower and lower and lower until you've lost weight, but now you're maintaining on 1,200 calories. That's just not sustainable and certainly not healthy. And your body, always looking to make you the healthiest version of you, is going to drive you to eat more calories because it is not going to be happy and healthy on 1,200 calories. Or you get down to 1,200 calories and realize it's not sustainable for you. Or you don't realize your body has adapted to 1,200 calories. You go back to eating the way you were before. Now you're in, what, a 1,300 calorie surplus? You're gonna gain that weight back right away. Another big reason for regaining weight is that there's no permanent change in lifestyle. If you lose weight by sticking to a specific regimen, and then as soon as you lose the weight, you go back to your old lifestyle, your body weight's gonna go back to its old body weight, especially if you didn't approach fat loss in the smartest way. For example, if someone loses 60 pounds by cutting their calories down to 1,500 and doing cardio every day, they get to their goal weight, great. Then they stop doing cardio every day and eat whatever they want. They're now moving less and eating more, which is the recipe for weight gain. If you adapted to low calories and a ton of movement, it does not take much to put weight on. The biggest loser is Exhibit A in this. Like, that is just the worst approach to fat loss on the planet. And it's just, it kills me. The fact that show still exists just, no. Lastly, another reason people tend to regain the weight is that they use crash diets to achieve their weight loss. And spoiler alert, if you try to lose weight really fast, you're gonna put it back on really fast. This is because with the crash diet, you're doing it so quickly, you're not giving your body time to adapt to the lower weight, so you can't even settle into the lower weight. Your body's just gonna keep driving homeostasis back to your old weight. Like if you're doing a 2-week crash diet and you lose 10 pounds, great, your body's still in the stage of driving you to your original weight. You haven't given it time at all to adapt. Another question you might have is, if set point isn't real, why do we plateau in weight loss? Like if our body is always adapting and changing, why do we plateau? Like we should just be able to continually lose weight. Now, there is not a lot of clear science on this, unfortunately, but I do have a few things to say. First, plateaus are very, very normal. Like plateauing for 2 weeks does not mean you're doing anything wrong. It does not mean your body is doing something wrong. It does not mean that you need to change anything. Like that's normal. But also your body does not function on a 24-hour clock when it comes to calories in versus calories out. It's not like if you eat in a 300 calorie deficit one day, the next day you'll wake up 0.146 grams lighter. I don't know the actual math on that. I just threw out a random number. But like the numbers don't convert on a 24-hour cycle. And especially for people with menstrual cycles where your body weight is going to fluctuate naturally throughout the month, you might be losing body fat in the last 2 weeks of your cycle, but you're storing a lot more water weight because you're in the last 2 weeks of your cycle. So you might not see the scale move even though your body is actually changing. But plateaus are also often caused by metabolic adaptation. So again, you're eating 2,500 calories, you cut down to 2,200 calories, your body's going to adapt to that. And once your body adapts to 2,200 calories and you're only burning 2,200 calories, you plateau. So what are the solutions? How do we bypass our body's natural homeostasis mechanisms to lose fat in a healthy way so that we won't regain it? Everything that I've said so far is basically why a lot of people in the body positivity space say diets don't work. It's because most diets are done really poorly, don't take any of this into account, and are just like crash diets or like 1,000 calories for 6 months. Like that, yeah, that's not gonna work. If you actually want your body to settle into a lower current settling point, you can't crash diet to get there. Crashing is the opposite of settling. So what do we do? First things first is reverse dieting is magical and it's your best friend. Your metabolism can adapt in both ways. Unfortunate when it adapts lower, but you can also make it adapt to be a faster metabolism. I have a whole playlist on reverse dieting, so I'll leave a link to that down in the description box below, but in short, you basically eat a little bit more incrementally while resistance training, and this speeds up your metabolism. So yes, this means you might not necessarily lose fat initially, but if you're currently maintaining weight on 1,500 calories, you're stuck at your weight, you wanna lose 50 more pounds, you're either gonna have to cut down to 1,200 and plateau again, or reverse diet up to 2,500. Then you can lose weight on 2,000 calories. You're chilling, you're happy, your body is healthy. So basically, if you're currently maintaining on low calories, reverse diet first. The next big secret, and again, I have an entire video about this, so watch that to get this more in depth, but mini cut cycles. This is how to prevent the metabolic adaptation and slowdown that is going to get you stuck at lower calories and maybe a slightly lower weight, but not allow you to go any lower. So how this works is every 2 to 4 weeks-ish, you take 1 week of just an entire diet break. You go back to your original maintenance calories, and this will keep your metabolism from gradually slowing down to your deficit. So let's say, again, you're maintaining weight on 2,500 calories, and then to lose weight, you cut at 2,000 calories. You do that for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, you go back to 2,500 calories for a week, and just repeat that cycle. Because your body does not adapt to lower calories instantaneously, it takes a couple weeks for your body to catch up. You should still be able to maintain your weight on 2,500 calories. So in those 3 weeks of eating 2,000 calories, let's say you lost 1.5 pounds. You go back up to 2,500 calories, your maintenance is still 2,500 calories. Your body is still burning that amount because you haven't given it enough time to adapt to the 2,000 calories yet. So now you're maintaining 1.5 pounds less on 2,500 calories. Repeat, 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 you're good to go. Another thing that's so important in being able to settle into a lower body weight is to go slow and steady. If you try to do this as fast as possible, you will not be able to settle. Fast fat loss often involves implementing unhealthy mechanisms. And since your body is driving you to be the healthiest version of you, it is going to be fighting against what you're doing the whole time. If you are gentle with your body is much more able to accept changes and adapt to them accordingly. Another thing that's so important is adding in resistance training. This is what keeps your metabolism fired up. Cardio and resistance training affect the body in opposite ways. Resistance training is anabolic, meaning it builds. Building tissue, muscle tissue, not fat tissue, requires extra calories. Maintaining that muscle tissue requires extra calories. This means faster metabolism. Cardio, on the other hand, is anabolic, meaning it's breaking down. So yes, it breaks down fat cells. Resistance training can too if you're in a deficit, but it breaks down fat cells, but it also slows down your metabolism. So I strongly recommend doing at least 2 days a week of resistance training if you are trying to lose fat. And then of course there's the big one of work on optimizing your health overall. Because like I said at the beginning, if you're eating a ton of processed foods, if you have health issues, if your hormones are imbalanced, if you have any sort of other issues with your health going on, your body's going to prioritize that, not fat loss if you're already within your healthy range. So make sure you're getting in regular exercise. Make sure you're consuming whole and processed foods. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're managing your stress. Optimize your gut health. Like, everything is part of the process because everything is connected. That's the big takeaway from this video, is everything in your body is connected. We cannot try to isolate one little system and say, this is the equation. Everything is part of the equation. So those are my very extensive thoughts on body weight set point. And I do want to quickly touch on the psychological aspect as well, because this whole discussion has just been the biological, physiological aspect of body weight, but the psychological aspect plays a huge part. Like, the mental aspect of conquering diet culture is honestly what stands, I think, in more people's way than actual current set point does when it comes to fat loss. So if you are a chronic dieter, or you are afraid of weight gain, or you are someone who has just always really disliked your body, you may have some other steps that you need to implement before you can specifically really focus on fat loss in a healthy way. Here's what I want to say for now to those of you who are chronic dieters or have a disordered relationship with your body or with food or with exercise. A lot of people think that achieving their ideal physique and eating anything they want are mutually exclusive, but this is not true. The average woman can get lean, have curves if you want, have a little booty going on, and maintain that physique on 2,500 to 2,800 calories. No joke. For example, I'm 5'2" and maintained this physique on 2,500 calories. I'm short. And you can find so many examples on Instagram and YouTube of other women who have accomplished this. Absolutely possible. There's so many examples out there. When you can maintain your weight on 2,700 calories, you can have that pizza, you can have those fries, you can have that ice cream, basically whenever you want. And here's the other thing, is you might say, but I want those all the time. But here's the thing, when you can have them all the time, and when you can give yourself the freedom to have them all the time, guarantee you're not gonna want them nearly as much as you do right now, or as you think you will. That's the beauty of food freedom. When you don't restrict any foods, you don't want them nearly as much anymore. And how do you get there? Reverse dieting, mini cut cycles. Let me know if you guys want a more in-depth video on this psychological aspect of weight loss, or if you have any questions about what I just said about that, or any questions about any of this. I'm sure some of what I said is going to upset some people. But here's the thing, is we don't have the science yet to say definitively how any of this works. So there is no right answer right now. All we can do is come up with the best theory. And the short answer of my theory is that everything is connected and it's a lot more complicated than we're trying to make it. And that's why there's so much confusion around it. So I will leave it at that. I will make a follow-up video if you guys have a lot to say about this. So do let me know. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. If you want to see more videos from me all about health and fitness, you can check it out over here. See future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I will see you very soon. Bye!